Applying to IT jobs in 2025 is a complete and utter joke. It's like Tinder of the career world. But I've been there. I was working brutal shifts in a factory. I was feeling helpless, and I was convinced nobody would ever give me a shot. Yet in 2023, I nailed my very first tech interview, and 8 months later in 2024, I actually landed a network cloud administrator position off of a single job application. So I'm going to share with you three of the best pieces of advice that I wish I had when I first started that would have accelerated my escape from factory work into IT. I remember feeling absolutely trapped, like stuck in a factory job that I hated. And every morning for 3 straight years, I hated waking up. I dreaded Sundays because I knew Monday was coming. I'd wake up late, I'd get ready in a hurry, and I'd clock in, go through the motions, and for literal hours, each and every single day for those 3 years, I would just think to myself, for hours, I can't keep doing this shit. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, I literally, that wasn't like a passing thought. That was my life for years. That's what I thought about each and every single day. And I just remember being exhausted mentally and physically, working around like 60 hours a week, doing the overtime. And I was thinking about my elderly parents and how things were like worsening for them and how I'd need to improve drastically, like financially, so I could actually support not only them, but myself as well. And it just seemed like IT was the only way out. Like, it was the only way to get close to six figures, or like get into six figures, get a remote job that would like help me take care of them a little bit better. And the biggest issue was I wasn't getting any callbacks. I was getting no interviews. It was just silence. And it all made me just question myself, like, why am I even doing this? It was in those moments that I'd imagine a miserable future, like still trapped in the factory, maybe even seeing like old friends that are just doing much better than I was, and just being unable to properly support my family. I was just thinking about the time that maybe I'd be regretting like never having the courage to change. But everything shifted when I defined my why. Because above all else, like, I wanted to be able to help my parents, but I also wanted the freedom, the growth opportunities, and I wanted to be able to like take pride in what I do. You know what I mean? And I fixed my mindset. I became extremely disciplined, and I eventually broke into IT. Now I have a career that I'm like genuinely excited for. But you can achieve this too. Like, it's not that difficult, and I want to show you how. The first piece of advice I have for you is mindset. And there's this common misconception that breaking into IT relies solely on skills, certifications, degrees, or like even luck. And the reality is, like, mindset is can be either your greatest asset, or it could be your greatest obstacle. And it's the foundation that holds everything up. It's the reason you do things. It's the effort that you put into them, the willingness to keep going even when things get tough. And even down to the vibes that you give off in an interview. It's all mindset. So you just need to know that it's not going to be an easy journey, and that it could take longer than you expect. And that's okay, but as long as you're accepting of this is what's going to help you in the long run. If you accept this difficulty, it's what's going to separate you from others, because there's so many other people with the doom and gloom mindset. There's people that complain all the time about how difficult it is to get a job, like how bad the job market is, and we all know like how bad it is. But it's accepting what it is, knowing that you're going to persevere and that you're going to get through it. Because it's hard, it's just going to make it easier for you to stand out. And you're just not going to be as likely to quit. If anything, you should be grateful that it's difficult, because it just makes it easier for you to stand out. So you need to stop thinking about shortcuts and luck, and you need to focus instead on like your inputs, like your actions that you take, studying, labbing, applying to jobs, and then you need to reverse engineer outcomes and correct your inputs accordingly. So some actionable steps you can kind of take away from this are, write your why on a piece of paper and then put it on your wall. Because if you do this, whenever things get tough and you're asking yourself, like, why am I even doing this? You have your answer already. You don't have to worry about, it's not something that's going to make you stop in your course. Like, you have that backbone, that why to keep pushing through and persevering. So as long as you do that, and then, accept and embrace the difficulty, stop complaining, because there's so many people that complain online. I mean, there's a negativity bias, right? So people that like can't get jobs go online, they post things and they say how bad the job market is, how much it sucks, like everything is just bad. I mean, it clouds your judgment. You start thinking in this frame just like other people, like you're never going to get a job. And this is just such an easy thing to do, like a cop out, to complain. And when you can stop complaining and just turn all that stuff off, like your mindset isn't being polluted by everybody else's thoughts and everybody else's negativity. It's just you and your desire to get better. So as long as you can do that, it's going to be write your why on a piece of paper, accept the difficulty and embrace it. And just know that you're the underdog. Like there's nothing, it's like a nothing to something journey. Like if you guys knew how good it feels for me when somebody asked me like about my career, even if they don't know anything about IT, it's fine. But like I love when I can tell somebody like I quit my job for a lower paying job just to get started in IT, and then I ended up to where I am now. And that is like an underdog story like that I like resonate with and I lived. And it's something that I'm proud of. So you need to understand like you're the underdog and you're the hero in the movie. So this is something that you can use as like motivational fuel, if you will. If you take anything away from this, just focus on your inputs. Don't obsess over outcomes or what's out of your control, and just focus on your actions. Set the roadmap. So once you have a good roadmap to tell you like how to get from point A to point B, which is 0 to like a job, just trust the journey. Don't get distracted and deviate. The second piece of advice I have for you is not to skip straight to mid-level. When I first started, I was actually making pretty decent money at my job, my factory job, and that was because I was working so much overtime, and it was a pretty decent hourly rate anyway. So I didn't want to make any less money than that. I didn't want to compromise. So I was shooting straight for mid-level roles. I was trying to get like a bunch of certifications. I was trying to like set myself apart and say like, hey, I'm serious. You can like take me seriously. I have experience, whatever. But it just doesn't work that way. Like people don't take you seriously when you're applying to roles like that. And I just realized like since nobody was taking me seriously and I wasn't getting a single reply for months of applying, I realized I was wasting my time. Like had I have gotten an entry-level job sooner, I would have already built some professional experience and I'd actually be more qualified for mid-level roles by then. So I just accepted it and I decided to only apply to entry-level roles at that point. And obviously I had a boundary for how much money I could make. But this actually lit a fire under my ass when I made it, because I had to grind to get out of there. I was breaking even financially, which was awesome, but at the same time it was very scary for me. So I knew I had to like get out. And so there was a lot of motivation and reason to get out. Not only was it my initial why to get out, but now I had an additional financial burden to actually get out that was actually tangible. So the entry-level job, though, it provided like critical experience, like even confidence just in IT. And so that's what accelerated my growth. And you got to keep in mind, like, you can just stay there like 6 to 12 months. You don't have to stay there for a long time. Like I only did 8 months. So some actionable steps for you to take away from this is really just prioritize entry-level roles initially. And I'm not telling you to only apply to entry-level roles. I'm saying that you can apply to the mid-level roles, especially if you see fit, like they look like a good opportunity and they're like open to more like to newbies and stuff. But you need to be open to pay cuts if you're making more money, because this is going to be experience that builds confidence and is quite literal like professional experience that you can put on your resume. So you need to view them as like you need to view the initial jobs as stepping stones and like towards bigger goals, because your first IT job isn't the finish line. It's like simply the launch pad. By the way, like I've been putting together some ideas to help people get started in IT. So I'd love your input, and if you're open to sharing what you're stuck on or want early access when I release something, just click on the link below. But we'll move on to the third piece of advice, which is social skills. I know a lot of people know that soft skills are important when it comes to like interviewing, or I mean even for just getting the role in general, but a lot of people write it off and kind of just focus on the technical stuff anyway, even though they kind of know the soft skills are important. A lot of people don't really see it as a tangible skill, but you need to put effort and practice into improving in that field. And I want to show you how important it is and how it can actually help you land a job, especially your very first one. Because my very first IT interview was actually a panel interview with 10 people. And I remember walking through the office, there was like this like wall of cubicles. So it was like kind of like this little hallway inside of the small office. And I remember turning the corner and seeing that U shape of like 10 people sitting in their chairs. It was like super quiet, so I didn't even know they were like there. I knew they were waiting on me. I just didn't even know, but because they were so quiet. But that was my very first interview in 5 years, and it was with a 10-person panel interview. And I remember at one point I was asked what I would do if I couldn't figure something out. And I remember saying something along the lines of like I would just walk away and kind of like think about it, because I drew a parallel to when I was working on a project car and like not being able to like figure something out when I was working on the project car, and walking away. I think I took a shower or something, came back, and I was able to figure it out. And because I mentioned project cars, I was asked about project cars a little bit later in the interview by someone in the panel, and it turned out that a few of them were car guys. And the whole dynamic of the interview really shifted at that point. It turned in more into like a buddy vibe, and we were all like cool. And I ended up getting that job. And then what really solidified like how important social skills, soft skills are was my current role. Actually, a few months after I'd interviewed at my current role, I asked like why they picked me, and I was told that the other candidate actually had more experience than me, was actually more qualified, but they liked my answers better, and I actually like ended up just interviewing better than they did. And so that's when I had that feeling that social skills were good, but that was like proof. That was like proof in the pudding that like this is so much. It provides so much more leverage than you initially expected. And you really have to think about like what is expected out of an entry level versus a mid-level role. And the really big difference is they don't expect you to know everything in entry level. I mean, even in mid-level they don't, but they don't expect to ask you like these really crazy questions. They just want to see, are you a good fit for the team? Are you teachable? Do you actually want to learn and improve? Do you kind of want to do this? You know what I mean? And they kind of want to see your troubleshooting skills. So, I'm sure you've worked like some kind of a job where you worked with somebody you didn't like or people didn't like because they just didn't fit in the team. Like they maybe were an asshole, you know what I mean? And it just made your day go by so slow, or like it was excruciating to get through. And if you had the option, you'd fire them. So you'd rather hire somebody that is a pleasure to work with, makes your day go by faster. And I remember this like when I worked my very first few jobs ever. Like I remember working with some people that just were genuinely so fun to be around. They made like work not feel that bad. You know what I mean? And I would just think like this place would suck without this guy. You know what I mean? And so in the interview, it's kind of your goal to portray that you are that guy. You're the one that could make that place that much better just because of your presence. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a goal that I have, and I think is something to shoot for in your interviews, is to kind of give that vibe off. Even then, like people see IT as some kind of introverted career path, so a lot of people gravitate towards that, and a lot of people are kind of lacking social skills. And that's a good thing really for you, because there's a gap where you can stand out. It'll set yourself miles apart from someone else that's lacking the soft skills, because not only do you have like technical ability, or maybe you have a little bit less technical ability, but if you can just demonstrate that you can actually speak, you could speak to a customer, you could speak to somebody that you have to work with, you could be a liaison, you know what I mean? Like you have these skills that other people that aren't that easily teachable. That's why it's a soft skill, right? So this is something that you should really, really not just take it as face value, but really try to work on and improve. So some actionable steps that you can actually take away from this, and some advice that I have for you, is to do small talk daily. Like even if it's at work or if you're going to the store, like try to talk to people that you've never talked to before. If you get to this, like talk to the like a cashier, for example, you can just say, hey, how's your day going, by the way? And then they might give you like a one-word answer or something like that back, like fine, how about you? And you just need to know that you need to take the burden of the conversation, and you need to accept that most people don't want to do small talk or just suck at small talk. So that's where you'll interject some effort and say, oh, like I've been having a horrible day so far. Like my dog threw up on the carpet. Now I'm here buying cleaning supplies. And then, you never know. Like from there, they might say like, oh, what kind of dog do you have? And then you guys spark up a conversation. Who knows, you might even make friends. But the goal of this is to just work on social skills daily in passing. Like, it's not something you have to focus on like studying for a certification. Like, I'm not telling you to focus hours of your day towards social skills, but it's something that you can genuinely like work on in passing. So that's pretty much it. Those are the 3 pieces of advice that I wish I would have had. But I just want you to imagine like waking up and, excited about your day. You're finally in control of your career. There's no dread. It's just pride knowing that you've built like a life where you can support your family. And it's not going to be easy, but nothing like worthwhile doing is easy. Like, but if you stick with me and you watch my videos, it's not about just your job. It's about transforming your life.